together for a long, long time. Mostly at the end of the day, it's you on my mind. But I worry if your heart has a space for mine. You know I got a jealous heart at infrequent times. You've aged so beautifully like a deep red wine. When I look in the mirror, my face has committed a crime.
Alrighty, I'm having to re-record this because as I did my examples earlier, um, the light source was all jacked up. So I'm going to redo this, hopefully edit it, and we can end up back where we needed to be. This time I'm going to start with the deco. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to steal the angles for this figure. It's a little bit off. And stealing an angle takes no more than putting a pencil on the line that you want to draw. Here's her spine. And since I am trying to make this my own thing, but yet based on Art Deco, I am going to take some liberties with it. I'm also going to slow myself, unlike the last time when I did it in class. Pay a little more attention to the hands straight off the bat because they're easier to do right the first time than wrong the second time. That made no sense. But you know what? It sounded dramatic. And sometimes that's the best you can hope for. All right, this time I'm going to have her peering upward. So I am changing right off the bat the tilt of the head. I've kind of wanted to do a project like this just because I like putting the characters I've created for my book into formats that normally they wouldn't find themselves in. And that's kind of a tall order since it is a time travel series. They really could find themselves in pretty much any of these situations or in any um, of these time periods, and yet here we are. This leg is really more like that. I'm going to try to round out where I feel the pelvis would have tilted. All right, there's a leg here, boom, boom, and a knee, and this other leg looks like it goes there. And I know this is a very drapery filled type of garment that she's wearing, but I want to go more typical flapper girl look to this dress. I'm also going to take some of the statuesque body shape out of her and make her a little less Amazonian. Mhm. I'm also going to do some. I'm going to do some sort of weird, trendy, asymmetrical haircut on her. Because my character is a cat girl, I am going to put in the cat girl ears. That always kind of helps me remember who I'm drawing. Right. All right. Now, as far as the dress is concerned, what I'm going to do is make the dress very flapper, very geometric, very singularly formed. So maybe I'm going to put like a zigzag pattern in it. Like so. And like the last one, I'm going to put some fringe coming to the arms. But this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be more geometric with my fringe. So it almost becomes a pattern. And you see I shifted at that point from my sketching line to a very clear line. The only thing is that clear line also denotes a fair amount of pressure, which means it would be more difficult to erase should I mess up. All right. I will also do the same thing on here. Now, I am going to break the rules of reality on this one. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm using this for a border. I'm actually using the clothing for sense of what should happen with the border. All right. So now before I go whole hog and, and really start throwing some shades in here, or maybe tracing it with ink or putting in a ton of detail, all of which I will have to go back. You don't have time for it. I gotcha. Um, I'm going to make up an extra background for this. So I've already put in this kind of flared idea for her clothing as being part of the border, but I'm also going to place her within a rectangle. Very, very simple shape. All right. And within that shape, I am going to break that into other simple geometric shapes. So in this case, there's my triangle. I'm going to put a triangle inside my triangle. Well, maybe I won't even put a triangle. Maybe I'll just do a diamond. Boom, boom. So really all I'm doing here is I'm subdividing the space. I would probably come back later with this subdivided space, maybe do it in metallic. I will do the same thing behind her now, or behind her head, where I'm going to break up that space. I'm not going to do as much on this space as I just did on the other one, for the very simple fact that I don't want to overwhelm that area. So I think I could get away with that. Now, if I wanted to take this out even farther, I could put a rectangle within a rectangle. All right. And as I look up top, I went up about an inch and brought that over. So I'm going to do the same thing here at the bottom and bring it up about an inch. I will curse this ruler forever for having the divots in it that are making me angry. All right. So that's just kind of me laying out my first idea or my second idea for this pose. Really going back and looking at the actual image. I'm seeing shadows and stuff. So, you know, going back and referring to this image to see where the shadows would hit is not a bad idea. You know, I mean, yes, you can veer from it. Your image, you're using it as a basis to create something. You don't have to stick 100% with it. But going back and seeing where the shadows hit, that's not horrible. That's actually a pretty good idea. All right. And so forth and so on. All right. So that's my first one that's done in a deco style. And of course, since this is my character Annie, she would have the checkerboard hair. But unfortunately, I'm not 100% on this asymmetrical haircut I've given her. So we'll get back to that. All right. Or I'll get back to that at some point. Not make you have to watch me do it. All right. Now the redrawing of this one. Her upper spine is like this. Boom, boom. Her shoulders are like this. All right. One arm, definitely like this. All right. The other arm comes down like that and then goes over. All right. So there's one hand that points out to here. All right. All right. Now, her spine at some point does one of these because her booty sticks out. There's also more gradualness to it than I drew before. And once you have that stick figure, you can go back to your canon of the human body and you can loosely start to draw in these shapes. Now, when we was doing this for the class, somebody had mentioned, do I have to keep them in the same clothing of that era? Well, it helps. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it should follow the style. So if it's Nouveau, it's going to be fluid. If it's Deco, it's going to be more rigid, more design quality. If I really wanted to compare and contrast here, I would do the same character in two different ways. But I'll do two different characters. Plus, there's a lot of drapery in this one, which basically is not the style of the 1890s. this whole shoulder thing, nobody would go out in public like that. At least not in England or the United States, because that would be considered very risque for that time period. Oh my God, you showed him your shoulder. Now you'll have to get married. Oh no. All right. Boy, that's an awfully long torso. Longer, you say? This leg needs to be longer. All right, my bad. Right now I'm doing a little bit of fighting between what I want to know my character looks like and how Amazonian this lady is. That's the second time I've said Amazonian today. Okay, my last one was looking out and up. So this one will be looking down. Right. Now the fun part of this is figuring out the clothes. And in this case, I'm going to give her kind of a toga. Because I do want to keep the drapery. And I'm just loosely putting this in here for now. I really do want to come back later and fix it up. Make it look awesome. I also want to give her Muka's macaroni hair. And part of the reason I want to do that, when I want to give her this macaroni hair, is because that is very stylistic of the artist Muka. And some of this I'm stealing straight, and some straight from that image, and some of this I'm kind of making up. I'm getting a little bit of one and a little bit of the other. All right. Not sure how far I want to go with some of this. Stand up because this is not doing any good for my back. It's funny because I just got done drawing this character with dreadlocks. And that was an unbelievable challenge. And maybe I kind of went overboard with the macaroni hair. I don't know. I like how he does his better than I did mine. But that's okay. See, now that one didn't make any sense whatsoever. All right, so what do I know of this character when I go to draw? I know she has a thin upper lip. If I draw her eyes closed, I don't have to worry about the shape of them. And there we go with that. All right. So from this point, as I'm sketching this sucker out and kind of feeling my way around this drawing, collarbone. I'm going to start thinking about what I'm going to do for a background. Now, to be honestly lazy, I could do this on the outside. Boom. And I'm just going to put circles within circles. The part of the reason I'm doing circles within circles is it does seem to be a design element of this one. There also seems to be double lines. So I will take and sketch in that double line quality. At the moment, I feel like I just kind of did the original Eye of Agamotto. Not so much the one that was in the movie, but definitely one that was in the comic book. All right, as I peer around my room for another large circle-like shape. Yeah, I got one. Do I want to use it? No, this should be good. I will do a secondary circle up here. And this time I will go with the circles toward the inside. So they will be behind the macaroni hair. And what I would do is later I'd come back and fill in these little circles with something. Some kind of detail. I would double up my lines. I think before I talked about giving her jewelry, like putting a large dragonfly necklace on her, because dragonflies were kind of this huge thing. Of course, that's kind of crazy and over the top. And I think I also talked about perhaps even giving her dragonfly wings. I remember the last drawing I did. So anything I can use to bring in the natural world is kind of what you want to do with this. You know, you're mimicking the natural world. Plants, maybe cattails, because, well, dragonflies usually associated with swamps. More folds, more creases. Get rid of some of these bends. All right, and I think that really for this moment in time, except I'll clean up her chin because it looks like she has a beard. Not that you're not allowed to have a beard, but that's kind of where we're looking at as far as doing your pre-sketch, getting your main ideas done, coming up with some kind of idea that's going to look Art Nouveau. All right. And definitely. Sorry, I had to double look at that toe because it was looking weird. with the draper, you want to imply where the shadows would be. If you wanted to kind of pinpoint where the leg is without doing too much, that she just looks like she's wrapped like a mummy. He's actually really good with this flowing thing. And that's why he is Muka. All right, so I would go back and forth. I'd add more detail, clean up stuff, do something with that hair, something with the wings, something with all the little details that could be within that spot. But that's generally how I would lay that out. All right, so this is with about 10 more minutes of work in here. I made the figure look a little more like my character Annie, which basically means it looks a little bit more like a cartoon. So as far as that is concerned, did some research, found some actual deco dresses, did a little shading. Still a long way to go on this. All right. This next one, I started adding patterns in the background. Hopefully at some point I'll get to add a little more. Looking at it now, head's a bit small. So I don't know if I'll go back and kind of erase that, fix that up. But, you know, it's interesting when you back away from something to kind of get the gist of it. So there we are with that. So do a little research for yourself. Make yourself happy with your pose. Make yourself happy with the clothes. Make yourself happy with the background. It should be fun. All right. Now, I have only been recording for what looks like 20 minutes. So you should be able to take 40 minutes and whip out a couple. Hopefully. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good day. Stay out of trouble. If you have any questions, email me. Peace.